Mr. V's like 65.
Okay. You ready to start this?
Mm-hmm.
We agreed I was card master. I'm the Robert of this video. What are you doing?
I'm going to fix that.
Okay, that's reasonable. Okay. You ready to start?
Yes.
Hello! Welcome to the Gamers of Westeros webcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Anthony.
And today we are going to be reviewing the most recent Game of Thrones living card game chapter pack, A Journey's End. We plan on doing these videos fairly regularly, but before we get started with the reviewing of A Journey's End, we should probably give a little bit of our background with the game. Anthony, how did you start playing this game?
I started playing this game because we had started going to Bluegrass Magic, a game shop in our city, to play different board games and card games there. Somebody was playing this game, asked if I could play, thought it was pretty cool, and got a copy.
That's cool. I went there the same evening as him. I had been one of those poor misguided souls playing Magic the Gathering, and I realized this is an extremely flawed format. Oh, there's LCGs out here that are much more strategy driven, and everyone has the same card pool, and it's cheaper, and it has an awesome theme like Game of Thrones or Star Wars. Hell yes. So I got into Star Wars and then realized I didn't like it as much as I did, so then I got rid of all my cards, started playing Game of Thrones, and I'm completely enamored with the entire universe and card game as of now. I play Game of Thrones and Netrunner competitively. I just started Netrunner recently, so I'm not quite good at it yet, and I casually play Warhammer Invasion and the Star Wars card game by Fantasy Flight. Yeah, and anything else you want to add?
Well, I also play Game of Thrones, and I play Warhammer casually. But then I also play a lot of board games. That's what I had originally played before I started playing LCGs.
Look at the camera more. Okay. Okay. What's that? Something weird just popped up on the thing. Oh, it scared me. Okay. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm gonna edit that bit out. Okay, so I might not edit it out. Okay. So today we're going to be reviewing A Journey's End. It's been out a while, but I figured it'll give us some form of structure for our first video. We might have more open discussions later, but we also plan on reviewing the cards as they're coming out. So I don't see why we can't just get into these cards.
Alright.
Okay. So, our first card is King's Landing Dromon. Okay, it is a House Lannister only. After you win a challenge in which you declare one or more naval attackers or defenders, kneel King's Landing Dromon to have that character claim 1 power. It's a 0-cost location, House Lannister only, and it's a warship. Thoughts?
Seems pretty mediocre. Nothing special.
Yeah, it's kind of generic. You gotta have a lot of boats for this to really work. Of course, there's all the new red wine stuff, but I haven't had a reason to throw it into my normal Power Behind the Throne type decks.
Yeah,
so
more fun.
I mean, there's a couple red wine cards I would consider. Like there's that new guy that you pay 2 and you kneel a guy, I think it is. He's pretty. No, you claim 2 every time you kneel a guy. You claim 2 gold. So that's pretty good. But other than that, I haven't really wanted to add anything else in. So you'd have to really build a deck around this card for it to function properly.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I agree.
Okay. From now on, why don't you read the card while I hold it up there?
Yeah.
So that we don't have that silent period. Okay. Okay, our next card is Carl the Maid.
Carl the Maid, Ironborn Raider. Intimidate. Response. After you declare Carl the Maid as a naval attacker, discard the top 2 cards of the defending player's deck. Until the end of the phase, Carl the Maid gets +2 strength for each event card discarded this way.
And he is 2 cost, 2 strength, has a military, an intrigue, and a naval icon on his intrigue icon. And he is an Ironborn and a Raider, and he is unique. So
I think he could be pretty useful in a Black Sails Mill Greyjoy deck.
Well, he's got the naval icon, so obviously he can fit into a Black Sails deck pretty well. Last night I threw together a mill deck. It's my first Greyjoy deck ever. He found a spot though, just because he mills stuff. I don't know. I haven't seen him go into play yet. He seems fairly efficient in terms of milling and adding strength. If you can't get that strength bonus though, that intimidate seems kind of useless, because really a 2 strength guy isn't going to be intimidating too many guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, but 4 strength, I mean that's pretty strong. So as long as you can get the +2 strength for the event card, and I guess you'd have to stand him after that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So you see, there's a lot of ifs with this card, because if you can get that, but intimidate aside, I think it's a fairly strong card with its milling effect, and naval icons are just nice to have. So I think it's a pretty good card.
Yeah, I agree. Number 3.
Card number 103, 10 Towers Longship.
10 Towers Longship. It's a warship, and you may place an event card attached to the 10 Towers Longship on the bottom of the owner's deck to play it as if it was in your hand. Response. After you win a challenge by 4 or more total strength, kneel 10 Towers Longship to choose an event card in the losing opponent's discard pile. Attach that event card to 10 Towers Longship.
I didn't realize till I heard you reading it, but I kind of think this is cool. In a mill deck, I can see it being beneficial.
Yeah.
Being able to just take those events out of the person's discard pile. So there's no way of getting that back, right?
Oh. Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, but wait. But you're placing it back on, again with mill, you're placing it back on the bottom of their deck. So that also detriments the whole getting rid of all their
benefit that
cards.
you're getting from that event, that you would have probably 5 or 6 milled events that you've already milled out, you could get some pretty decent benefits out of them.
Yeah. I think it might be better if it was 0 cost, because you just gotta hang on to that gold, man.
Everything would be better though if it was.
Everything would be better if it was 0 cost. Get out of 0 cost Cersei, 0 cost Rob Baratheon. That'd be nice. Okay, next card is Longship Night Flyer.
Also a warship. Response. After you win an unopposed challenge, kneel Longship Night Flyer to have the losing opponent choose and discard a card from his or her hand.
And it is unique.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if it's worth the 2 cost, even in a...
It's kind of just like a 2 cost possible extra intrigue claim in my mind. It's like you have to get the unopposed challenge, which if you have a lot of intimidate, which hopefully you do, because intimidate's nice to have. If you have a lot of intimidate out, this would trigger nicely.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, I guess it's not just an extra... I mean, theoretically, you could get 3 cards from their hand discarded, which would play nicely towards
3 cards
of longship.
That's true. I can see them sinking fairly well. Yeah, I haven't seen this in play much. We don't have too many Greyjoy players in our local meta, but I think it has some potential there.
I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And now an event card.
Arms of the Kraken. House Greyjoy only. Play before any challenges have been declared this phase. Challenges. Until the end of the phase, when a player loses a challenge, he or she must choose a location he or she controls and return it to the owner's hand.
Again, this feels kind of conditional. I mean, obviously you want to be winning challenges, because, you know, challenges are everything. But this card is dependent on winning a challenge. So if you're not doing so well, it feels like it might be a dead draw. So you really have to be in an optimistic mindset to put this card in your deck.
And it's just returning it to its hand, which means it's not like it's getting rid of it. They can just play it again.
Yeah, they can. Well, not till the next turn. So you can get rid of an awesome effect like Gaston Grey.
Yeah.
Or I'm drawing a blank. You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like River Run in my House Tully deck.
River Run in a House Tully deck. Yeah. So you do that to get rid of that, and that's efficient. That's a nice effect. But I don't like being dependent on winning a challenge, because ideally I want to win at least 3 challenges. But, you know, if you're not doing so well, which I tend to do, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to use this card, and it's just a dead draw. And I want to be able to use all the cards in my deck at the right time. So I think this really just depends on your play style. Some people, when they build decks, they like to be very cautious. Some people like to be completely optimistic about things.
Yeah.
I kind of fall somewhere in between. One day I feel this way, one way I feel the other. I feel like this is a good card, but you have to be able to accept that it might be a dead draw.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Now we're
on to Baratheon.
On to Baratheon from the Greyjoys.
Shores of the Mander, the Reach. While you control at least one captain character, your characters get +1 strength during the challenge phase.
Okay, this card's awesome. This card's fantastic, actually, because the biggest Baratheon deck, at least in our local meta, is Baratheon Black Sails. It's kicking so much booty, and you have an abundance of captains, most of which are from this cycle, but, you know, this cycle builds the foundation of any Black Sails deck.
Of course.
So, if you just get out this one cost location, it buffs them all up by 1 strength, and that's just nice. 1 to give, hopefully, several of your guys +1 strength.
Right.
I don't see when you wouldn't want to have this card, other than maybe when you don't have any captains in play, but if you're playing this type of deck, why wouldn't you have at least 1 captain in play?
Right. But like you've said on the last card, if you're not doing well, this could also be a dead draw.
Yeah, but this is less so, because that you have to win a challenge. So that card is dependent on you getting a challenge with a character. So you have to have the characters out, and you have to succeed at the challenge with them. But with this, you really just have to have the characters out, and this will help you win that challenge.
Yeah.
Of course, the cards can't work together because they're one's Baratheon, one's House Greyjoy only. But that's just what I'm working with.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is strong because rather than having to get characters out and having to have the opportunity to win a challenge, rather than that, you just have to have the characters out for this to work, and then you can use them for a challenge, attacking or defending. You can use them for dominance.
That's true.
You know.
Yeah, I definitely feel like in a Black Sails deck, this would be very strong.
Yeah. And it's only 1, so can't hurt.
Okay. Huntress. House Tyrell, warship, no attachments. Challenges. Kneel Huntress to choose a lord or captain character. Until the end of that phase, that character gains melee and renown.
Okay, now...
I mean, I like it because I like renown. That's a lot of...
Renown's fantastic, obviously. Yeah. Especially in a Baratheon deck when you're reliant so much on rush, because there's a few control builds in Baratheon, but primarily they're rush builds.
Right, and if you're trying to rush, renown is 1 less.
Renown's fantastic.
Right.
But they have a lot of renown already, so I'm less excited about that. Actually, I'm more excited about melee, because if you have melee on somebody, I was gonna say a bunch of guys, but it's unique, so you can only get 1. You can shoot. So that lord or captain with melee is really going to help you out, because melee, they don't use it much. It's a lot in this chapter pack, surprisingly. But other than that, you don't really see a lot of melee characters because it's so strong. Because having a melee character makes your opponent consider how many people they want to block with, and potentially they're going to block with less people than they normally would, which gives you more of a chance of winning.
Right.
So I feel like having even more melee, which since it's such a rare thing, you got to hold on to all the melee you can get. This card is perfect for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Card 108.
Card 108.
Fury.
Location.
It's a warship. Any phase, kneel Fury and discard 2 cards from your hand to choose and stand a Baratheon character without attachments. Then draw 1 card.
Yes, 2 cost.
I don't like having to rely on having cards that you don't need to the point where you'd be willing to discard.
They have enough standing effects already. Why would you need
Yeah.
to discard 2 cards to do it? Because
Exactly.
you're already probably vulnerable to intrigue challenges unless you're running on a shy deck. You're already vulnerable to intrigue challenges, so why would you give the opponent even more card advantage when you could just play something like, again, it's dependent on winning a challenge, but ours is the Fury, or if you're in a Noble Rush deck, then you have Distinct Mastery to stand a Noble Crushed guy. Yeah, so they have plenty of kneeling effects that aren't reliant on discarding cards.
I did forget to read, though, in parentheses, draw 2 cards instead if you have won a challenge by 4 or more strength this round.
Oh, okay.
So,
See, you gotta read the whole card, man.
yeah, my
But
bad.
I don't pay attention.
So I guess if you've won that challenge by 4 or more strength, then you could cycle through your deck a little faster and get rid of
Well,
some
yeah, then
cards
you're
you don't.
drawing cards in that case.
Yeah.
And with
Well, you
Baratheon,
already draw 1 card with this card.
and especially with Rush, with Baratheon Rush, you're going to be winning challenges by like 4 or more. Because like I had a Noble Rush deck at one time, and I had plenty of stuff that I could put in there that said if you win a power challenge or any challenge by 4 or more, play this event card or trigger this effect, because you know what's going to happen because you have so many guys dedicated to power. So I feel like it's safe in that case because you're drawing 2 cards and then you do have card advantage.
But you have to discard 2, so you're just keeping the same amount.
You discard 2. No.
Yeah,
it says
you have to-
instead.
No, yeah, you instead of drawing
Oh, it says
1.
then draw 1 card and then you draw. Okay, I see.
Or you draw 2 if, so you only get to
I
draw
got
back 2.
you. Got you. Okay.
So
I'm just
it's-
confused all about this card. I think it has its place.
I don't like it. I don't like having to rely on the fact that you're going to have 2 cards in your hand that you don't care about enough that you're going to be willing to throw.
If you have some sweet ass card in your hand, like if you got Robert or Melisandre, which I don't know why you wanted to play that instead, but if you're holding on to that in your hand for some reason, I don't understand. I feel like you get out everything you really want, and then sure you may have good stuff in your hand. So I'd be reluctant if I had something that good, but I also don't feel like I would hang on to something that good unless I didn't have enough gold. So.
Yeah, but if you have a good enough build, this card is going to be not that effective because everything in your deck is useful. You're not just relying on trying to get a couple cards out.
Yeah, I understand.
I think this card is very.
I don't think it's fantastic. I feel like. I feel like Noble Rush is where it belongs.
Yeah.
And it's alright.
Alright, so let's move on to start.
The best house in the game.
Yeah.
It's actually not, unfortunately. It's okay.
So, House Manderley Escort. Ally, House Manderley. House Manderley Escort gets +1 strength for each House Manderley character you control.
Okay, so most of the House Manderley crap. Cut. Okay. Are we good? Are we still going? Okay. Okay. So, have you been reading off the icons and stuff too?
Oh no, it's military. Military power with naval enhancement.
2 cost, 1 strength.
Yeah.
It's an ally, and so you gotta worry about ally hate. But really, there's not that much. The only ally hate I really see frequently is Yeah, and
and that Lannister dude.
Is it?
Oh.
Which one?
He's Lannister and Martel. Hand me that Xbox. He's right there.
Okay. I'll talk about something else while you look
Yeah.
for it. There's the Targaryen guys. I always forget if Jorah Mormont or the other guy, the guy that Danny's all googly eyes over. You know who I'm talking about, hopefully. Jorah and the guy that's exactly the same. Is it Dario Naharis? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay. See, the season's been over a while. I haven't read the book in a while. I don't know. Okay, Dario Naharis and Jorah Mormont. Other than them and a couple Targaryen event cards, I really don't see much ally hate anymore because most of it functions, but most of it says ally or refugee, and those cards were so awesome before the refugees were restricted.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have to worry less about ally hate. So I feel like we're past the point to worry about allies.
Yeah.
But House Manderley, each House Manderley escort gets +1 strength. Or House Manderley escort gets +1 strength for each House Manderley character you control.
I mean, how many House Manderley characters are there out there that are?
As far as I know, most of them were introduced in this cycle. Clearly, because they've got all the boats and books and stuff. But the only character I've been very impressed with this cycle, this box keeps falling apart.
Maybe if you took better care of it.
Maybe if you weren't such an ass, it would be nicer to you. Anyway, sorry about that. House Manderley escort. It feels like a Tully card.
It does. I agree. I wish it was.
It does.
Tully.
If it was Tully, I'd be like, yeah, that goes in every Tully deck right now. But it's House Manderley. There's not that much House Manderley other than what came out this cycle. And the only character this cycle that I've been like, that's awesome, is Wyman Manderley.
I just don't see that much of a use for it. I don't particularly.
If you're running Black Sails with this guy, it works out. But on the other hand, I don't feel like Black Sails Stark is competitive enough because all of our naval guys, out of all of our naval guys, the only guys that I really like are Wyman Manderley and Fleet from their fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wyman Manderley and their fleet are the only guys that really impress me.
And
Everything
if that's
else,
all you're running, then he's
awful.
going to maybe be a 2 if you get lucky enough to have them both out at the
Yeah,
same time.
if you get lucky. So unless you're running Black Sails, which I personally don't feel is competitive enough, this card isn't worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which obviously Black Sails is what it's made for, but.
Trident Guard. It's 1 cost, 0 strength, military icon, has melee, and he is House Tully.
I really dig this guy.
Yeah, I like him too.
He's
He's
fantastic.
going in my House Tully deck.
Yeah, he has to. He's only a 1 cost, so there's so many opportunities that, you know, a lot of the time I'll have a bunch of gold boosters, and I'll just be all like, oh, I've got this gold to go to waste, all it's going to help me with is dominance.
And
You
in
don't
the
want to be
House
wasting
Tully
that
deck,
gold.
there's like 3 or 4 different cards that are going to bump him up. Like if you've got Hoster Tully out, he'll be at 1 strength just from him. If you've got, and there are guys who, if you have X amount, then you're going to reduce, like Edmur's host. So just having him can be useful.
Yeah, just for triggering that, it works. And again, with the melee, I'm sorry, I didn't show you. We didn't show it or read it. We just got so fascinated by it. We did?
Yeah, I read it. We just didn't show it.
Okay. Well, I'm an idiot then. Like I said, melee is so precious.
Because then if they defend, they're hurting themselves.
Because when you play this guy, I would think that the person is just going to be like, oh, he's got 0 strength, big deal. Then, once you get to challenges, it's like, wait, this guy could be a problem. Because if I block with these guys,
he's going to be like a 4 or whatever, yeah.
And he's only 1.
Yeah, I love him.
I love him too. Sure, he's got 1 icon, but military is the most important in most Stark decks.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're going to have 1 icon, military is where to have it.
Alright. An event. Call of the Three-Eyed Crow. House Stark only. Response. After a unique non-army character you own enters your dead pile, put that character into play knelt under your control.
I love this card.
Yeah, I like it.
I love it so much.
I mean,
this is in my Stark deck right now. My Stark Siege of Winterfell deck. It's It's great.
Yeah, I have no complaints about it.
Because I've got so many unique guys like Rickard Karstark or Sirio Farrell, or I feel so clumsy today. Rickard Karstark or Sirio Farrell that are so essential to my deck functioning properly, and if they die, I've got the dead draw because I'm obviously going to run 2 or 3 of those. I've got that at risk, and I've just lost a key component to my deck functioning properly.
Right.
So with this, I get it back. I can't use it on non-unique armies, so I can't use it on Northern Cavalry Flank, which is my favorite character in my deck. But I mean, I can use it on several other awesome cards.
Yeah, I think it's great.
And did you see that article that FFG posted on their website?
No, I haven't had a chance to read it.
There's a lot of really cool effects that they just straight up told us about, because it doesn't say save a character from dying. It says after a character enters your dead pile, play it. So if a character says if something says when a character dies, you get this effect. You still get that effect. So there's all kinds of cool stuff you can work out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's great then.
Yeah, it is.
Think about that.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember exactly what it was, but there was this one combo they had worked out on FFG that involves Valerian to some extent. Mm-hmm. I don't want to complain about it because it's so awesome, even though it has it, but it has to come into play knelt. I'd like it to be standing, but if it was standing, it'd be way too broken.
But wouldn't you? I mean, if it's going to be dead or knelt.
Dead or knelt, yeah. It's a fair trade-off. But like I get.
And if you're moving first, it probably is already knelt anyways, because if you've already made challenges with it.
Mm-hmm. But I'll get Sirio. I've played this card, and I'll get Sirio or Rickard, someone so awesome back, and I'll just be like, why can't he be standing right now? Why can't I need him? He's not helping knelt. Okay. But it's still fantastic. I love it so much.
Yeah. So now on to Martel. Starfall Skirmisher. 2 cost, 2 strength, military and power. It has melee, and it is house game. Melee is awesome. I like that.
Military and power icon. Yeah. It's good. 2 icons, 2 strength right off the bat. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just a pretty average card.
It's a solid character.
Yeah, I agree.
Melee, again, I love melee so much. I feel like it can be so detrimental to your opponent in certain situations. I can see it working in several situations. I can't see it being essential to many decks, but in a lot of like red Vipery decks, I can see it fitting in because it's all about having less characters.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I can see that being beneficial.
I mean, yeah, I have no complaints. I think it's just pretty average.
Yeah. And then
All right, now choosing the spear. Challenges. Choose and stand a Martel character. That character gains melee until end of phase. I like it.
I like it too. Melee again. This pack is so much melee. I don't know why, but I love it.
And it's standing a character, nothing for it. You just get to play this, stand a character. I mean, I like it.
It's a solid card. I like it a lot, but Martel has arguably, they have some of the best events in the game. You have so many awesome cards. You've got Game of Savas, you've got He Calls It Thinking, you've got Westeros Bleeds, you've got a lot, well...
I mean, they have great events. There's plenty of
fantastic events. And I don't know if this is going to make the cut in many decks.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I see it fitting in my Martel deck either.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's a solid effect. Nothing is wrong with this card at all that I can tell.
No.
But it's just, there's so many better events you could be running.
Yeah.
That's true. So, solid.
But you, like you've already said, a lot of Martel decks, you have to have less characters. If you do have less characters, you've got to keep them standing. So that is another...
That's true. So it could fit in there too.
Yeah. Okay, now Targaryen. Looks like, I guess, the only Targaryen.
The only Targaryen card in the deck, yep.
Venomous Manticore. Creature. Any phase. Kneel 1 influence to attach Venomous Manticore to a character. Counts as a creature attachment with the text attached. Character gets -1 strength. Any phase. Kneel 1 influence to attach Venomous Manticore to another eligible character.
1 cost, 1 strength, and an intrigue icon. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many better burn cards that you could run. Why run?
There absolutely is.